Okay, let's get straight to it. We're going to treat Carlos Castaneda's work not as some far-out philosophy, but as a practical training manual. We are cutting through all the theory to give you the core, actionable exercises you can literally start using the second this is over. Because this path isn't about reading, it's about doing. Right, let's get our heads in the right space from the get-go. This quote, it's not meant to be dark or depressing. It's the ultimate focusing tool. For a warrior, death isn't some event way off in the future. It's a constant advisor sitting right over your shoulder. And you know what? When death is your advisor, all those petty concerns, all that hesitation and self-pity, they become luxuries you just can't afford. The only thing left is time for clear, impeccable action. So here's our training plan for today. First, we're going to clarify what this system actually is versus what people think it is. Then we'll jump into 3 foundational exercises, one for your body, one for your mind, and one for your will. And we'll wrap it all up with a simple assignment so you can put this stuff into practice immediately. Let's kick things off by tackling the one thing everybody thinks they know about Castaneda, right? The psychotropic plants. Well, here's the truth. That's not the real system. Actually, it was a deliberate misdirection, and you're about to understand exactly why. Just look at the timeline of his first 3 books. You can see this radical shift happen right before your eyes. In 68 and 71, everything is dominated by these intense experiences with power plants. But then, boom. In 72, Journey to Ixtlan completely flips the script. The focus pivots hard to a path of pure, sober mental discipline. And this slide just lays it all out, nice and clear. There are 2 very distinct paths here. The path of power plants was really just a tool, kind of like a shock to the system to shatter a rigid worldview. But the path of the warrior, well, that's the real system. It doesn't rely on anything external. It's all about methodical, internal discipline. You know, this exchange from the book, it's blunt, but it gets right to the point. The plants were a sledgehammer, a shortcut needed for a mind that was just too stuck in its ways, too analytical. The real work, the path for someone who's actually ready, that requires no substances at all. And that, my friends, is where our training truly begins. All right, it's time for our first practical exercise. The warrior's path starts by, believe it or not, relearning how to use your body. Not just as a taxi for your brain, but as a finely tuned instrument that can feel the world directly without your thoughts constantly getting in the way. So our first mission is to find your sitio, your place of power. And listen, this is not a metaphor. We're talking about a real physical spot in a room where you feel tangibly better, stronger, or more at ease. And of course, there's an opposite, an enemy spot where you feel kind of drained or agitated. Our task is to learn how to tell the difference. Here's exactly how you're going to do it. Pick a room you're in a lot. Now, walk through it, but do it really, really slowly, with your eyes almost shut. The whole point is to shut down your brain's constant visual analysis. Instead, you're going to pay attention to the subtle feelings in your body. Does one corner make you feel weirdly calm? Does standing by the desk make you feel a little anxious? Don't judge it, just feel it. Your body already knows where these spots are. Your job is just to finally learn how to listen. Okay, so once you start to actually feel the world, you have to learn how to act in it. And the very first thing that's going to stop you every single time is the first and the greatest enemy of a person of knowledge. And that enemy is fear. Now, here's the crucial thing to get. The goal isn't to not feel fear. That's impossible. A warrior feels terror just like anybody else. The difference is they don't surrender to it. They meet it. They respect it as a worthy opponent. And then they act in spite of it. And we all know this enemy, don't we? It's that hesitation right before you make that phone call you've been dreading. It's that resistance to starting a new project because you're afraid you might mess it up. It's that moment you stay quiet in a meeting when you know you should speak up. These are our daily battlegrounds. So, what do? Here is the warrior's code for engaging with fear. Step 1, acknowledge it fully. Don't pretend it's not there. Step 2, do not retreat. Hold your ground. Step 3, find your clarity. Take a mental step back from the emotion and look at the situation for what it is. And finally, step 4, take one single deliberate step forward. That's it. Just do the next logical thing and repeat. So, we've learned to feel our environment, and we've learned to act even when we're scared. Now, we move to the offensive. This is about learning to use the fundamental force that, in this system, actually moves the universe. And that force is called intent. Now, it is absolutely vital you understand that intent is not the same thing as wanting, not even close. See, wanting is passive. It's just hoping the world gives you something. It's full of doubt and that constant chatter in your head. Inflexible intent, on the other hand, that's an unbending silent command. It doesn't ask for permission, it directs. It's a focused concentration of your energy towards one single inevitable result. And just like any other muscle, your will has to be trained. So here's the exercise. I want you to pick one ridiculously small, mundane task, like putting your keys in the exact same spot every single time you walk in the door. For 1 week, fulfilling this task is an unbreakable command. This isn't an all try. There is simply no option to fail. Remember, the task itself doesn't matter. The whole point is to feel what it's like to issue a command from your will and have your body obey without question. That is how you forge intent. All right, we've covered the theory, we've gone over the foundational exercises. But knowledge that you don't act on is just useless baggage. So here is your assignment. This is how you're going to transform this information into your own personal power. Your task for the week is twofold. First, spend just 15 minutes mapping your home to train your body to feel again. Find your CTO and your enemy spot. Second, every single day, I want you to log one victory over fear. Identify just one moment of hesitation and write down how you applied the 4-step rule of action. This is how you train yourself to act deliberately. It really is that simple. You see, these exercises aren't random. They are the absolute foundations. You're learning to perceive the world directly with your body, and you're learning to act with purpose in the face of fear. But these are just the first baby steps. So what happens when these skills become second nature? What happens when you can use them to achieve the central goal of the warrior? To momentarily stop the world and see reality just as it is without any interpretation. Well, that's what we'll explore next time.